Bienvenidos a Cápsulas Informativas de UNAM Chicago, un programa donde hablaremos de temas de actualidad desde una perspectiva dinámica. En este espacio, el equipo de UNAM Chicago aborda diferentes aspectos pertinentes a la educación, la difusión de la cultura, la vida cotidiana y su relación con los programas que diseñamos para ti. Una colaboración más de UNAM Chicago y Spanish Public Radio.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Salvador España de Spanish Public Radio para invitarlos a esta nueva cápsula informativa. También les informamos que a partir de esta fecha estaremos incorporando algunas cápsulas en inglés. Y hoy, Kevin Amaro, coordinador de programas comunitarios de UNAM Chicago, aborda en este idioma el tema de los latinos en la educación superior. Adelante, Kevin, y bienvenido.
Hi, I'm Kevin Amaro. I'm in charge of the community outreach programs here at Chicago UNAM, and I will be here with you today in this Cápsula Informativa to speak a little bit more about Latinos in higher education. So I do have this presentation for you. So we'll be focusing on Latinos in higher education today. What does that mean? There's a lot we could talk about, but let's look at some interesting facts right now. So if we look at Hispanic high school dropout rates, they've actually been going down. So this is great news from like the last 2 decades. We have seen that the dropout rate has been decreasing for us and really for other minorities and really just the country overall, which is great news, of course. We want everyone to get an education. And then up until for the last 20 years as well, we have seen a higher increase in college enrollments for our Latino community. Of course, COVID affected that negatively, and we'll look at those numbers in a bit. But, you know, I think that economic factors remain an obstacle to college enrollment, of course. And according to a poll by National Journal of 2014, 66% of Hispanics who got a job or entered the military right after high school did it for financial reasons for the families, compared to 39% of whites. So I think we're going to see that pattern throughout this. So this is great, right? For many decades, the numbers were high. Well, they weren't in our favor as for our Latino community, but we're starting to see that it's been improving throughout the last times. And so this is a college completion. We have 2 more charts, and these are all by Pew Research Center. As always, any numbers, any statistics, any research that could all, it could all be questionable, and how many people they survey, but nonetheless, these are some of the research that is available to us. And so we are seeing that even though there are more Hispanics that are getting a post-secondary education than ever before, Hispanics, Latinos, they use them interchangeably, but they still lag other groups in obtaining a 4-year degree. And we could actually see here too that Latinos, we're the ones that are less likely to have student debt. And that's mostly due to the reason that most Latino students attend 2-year colleges, and there's some fear about taking out loans, according to some research as well, which you'll see. And check this one out, Salvador. Look at this. This is, did you know on average Latinos borrow less than other racial ethnic groups? And this is from 2019. So we have some average amount borrowed by race ethnicity, right? We got a couple of them here. And as you see, Latinos, we're less likely to take out some loans. There's a lot of fear that comes with it, of course. I mean, there's some terrible stories about people getting a job, and I couldn't get a job, right? I was told that I'd get a job right after this. I just had to get this degree, but that's not how that works, right? You have to, there's more work that gets put into it aside from going to school. So, you got to be strategic about this. I mean, if your idea is that you're going to make $80,000 a year, then maybe you think twice about taking more than that, right? If you're going to, you got to count those numbers, and this is when you have to rely on your administrator, your counselors, people at your university, at your school, to help you with this situation, how much you should take out. I just want to note that, like, most of us are going to take out a loan for our home. Most of us are going to take out a loan for, you know, a car, which is not going to be cheap. I mean, let alone the home, right? But those are the loans that are okay for us to take out, you know. But we should try to like change it and to think that it can be okay to use loans to pay through school, or different types of, and we'll go into more details about what does schooling even look like. Some of us just think college, university, 4 years, you know, that's it. But continuing education and schooling, you know, there's more to that. But I did want to share this, and you know, I've taken out some loans because I needed to. Some of us can't get co-signers. I couldn't get a co-signer. I'm not in that situation. I'm the first person to go to college. So this, unfortunately, is one of the ways that I had to get through with this. And I just looked at my situation. Everyone has a different situation. And it was kind of helpful. But of course, beware of those interest rates, and, you know, not taking out more than you need, and being educated on that. But, you know, again, we're going to focus more on higher education today. Continuing our higher education, you know, postgraduate, you know, your associates, trade school, bachelor's, you know, master's, and so forth. And this is a chart actually from the National Assessment of Educational Progress. And as you can see, the fall 2019, like I mentioned prior, Hispanics are actually were increasing enrollment in higher education institutions. And so this one right here, the blue, means that there was less. And actually, you can see right here, Hispanic students were the only, or Latino students as well, were the only growing enrollment demographic in 2019. But say hello to our friend COVID, and then it goes the other way around. We were seeing a huge decrease in Latino enrollment. It actually dropped 20% in the fall of 2020. And there is no doubt that that's associated with the financial burden that already existed prematurely, but also now we have to support our families. A lot of us lost our jobs. COVID was, you know, it affected us all negatively, and now it's affecting us, our community, our race, to proceed higher education. And so there was this progress that was going on for 20 years, and there's some articles out there that, and some individuals who fear that it's all been halted, and, you know, hopefully it's only for 1 year, and, you know, we keep the progress going. But the worry is that it might have those 20 years. And it's not that it happened in vain, but you know, it's unfortunate. So this is the reality of it. And, you know, among Latino youths who have a high school education or less are not currently enrolled, these are some reasons that are given in some surveys for not continuing their education. I mean, it says that 74% say that they need to help support their family. That's a huge thing that's happened. I had 3 to 4 jobs at once during my college time. It's something that you have to do for some of us, and that can strain you. It's a burnout. I think I was mentally, and like my health was getting affected negatively. And, you know, I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but, like, you know, that's a situation for some of us. You either do or you don't. I mean, and so that's real. 49% say their English skills are limited. I've worked at many schools, CPS, private schools. We've had students that came from other countries like Mexico, and they didn't really speak English, and it was difficult, especially when some of these schools didn't even have Spanish teachers. And so I worked with them in the past, and it's real. It's unfortunate, right? They don't have sometimes other types of support. You know, but like looking at it, right? 42% say they didn't like school. Maybe their school wasn't interesting. They just haven't been given a reason to believe that education's, you know, fun and important. You know, you do kind of have to like be immersed in that. 40% say they cannot afford to go to school. You know, the tuition has been going higher throughout their years. It's unfortunate. 39% say they don't even need more education for the career they want. So whether that's true or not, many do believe. I've spoken to many people who say I don't really need it. And that comes down to like just not maybe comprehending all the options that are available to us. I was entering college and I didn't really understand what you could do with a bachelor's, an associate's, vocational school. What I didn't know. Our master's. I'm a little embarrassed to share that, but it's the truth, and I think other people might have that same experience. So, you know, it wasn't until I was here I spoke to other people who actually did continue their higher education at my school. And those are the people that I was able to learn from. Unfortunately, my family, my support group, my community that I live in, I grew up in Gage Park. It's, you know, it's not every day you get to walk by somebody who has gone through the path of higher education, at least in my experience. And I'm sure that experience is real for everyone else. And 21% say their grades were not high enough. That's a real thing to fear. But I will mention that there's students who academically were a little struggling, but the school could recognize that you're intelligent, and these people have gone into like great schools, great colleges, and even though they were not the best prior to university, college, and all that. So these are all real things. But what is college? Any institution of higher education that awards a degree or credential post high school graduation. So this includes, but not limited to, like I mentioned, trade schools, which are 2 years, it could be less, limited universities, community colleges, right? With trade, vocational, you could go into a program for like electrician, plumbing. You could take an IT program, right? A couple months, start working at a school, at a firm, and you make some good money. You could take a nursing program, and then you'll be able to continue work at a hospital, right? And so there's all these options. I didn't even know, but there is an associate's degree, and it all depends on what you want to do. This is why it's important. And this is not just for our 18 and 20-year-olds. This is for our adults too, 30 and 40. I've studied among them. Sometimes they're afraid to go out there because it's past their time, but it's never past our time. It's like saying you're just never going to learn again. We have to keep learning. That's kind of I think that's the most important thing that a human can do. And you'll see that the quality of life improves as well the more you get education. And there's different options, there's different prices, there's public and private schools. And while we could speak about this for a whole hour, I would just say go speak to a school, go speak to a counselor, go speak to a college, someone at admissions. They are more than happy to have you there. They're extremely ecstatic to talk to you about anything, about helping you how to get there, how you get funds. And if you feel that they don't reciprocate that want, then that's not the school for you, most likely, right? So these people want to help you, whether it's for altruistic reasons or, a quota reason, regardless, they're there to help you. So again, what's the value of a college degree? As you see, the more education you get, you're more likely to earn more, and then you're less likely to be unemployed. This is from ISAC. And so, again, these are just generalizations, but, they're true to most point. It's from 2020. And why adults go back to school, like I said, they want to just focus on students, but it's for yourself. It's, it's for your family, right? For the betterment of your family. So your kids could see that you go to school. For career achievements, you could do anything with higher education. You could go into the arts, you could do culinary, you could work at a public relations firm, you like doing advertisings, you love designing, you could do all that. But it's all accessible through college. College is not just where you go to learn in class. You go to learn class, make connections, and all these universities have connections to other firms, to other companies, other organizations. That's how you get in, right? It's a little easier for you. You've got something to help you there. Career advancements, career options, financial future. But right now we're focusing on Latinos, right? Nuestra race has suffered for many decades. We have been, we came here for more opportunities. So some of our families have, I'm sorry. I know I can speak that from my end. And so, we should take advantage of some of this. And sources of financial aid, I won't get too much into this, but it's out there, .gov, ISAC. Please reach out to isac.org, which is the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. They'll help you anything with scholarships, grants, paying tuition, student loans. They'll help you with anything going to higher education. They're great. So just check them out if you have any other doubts. And of course, the alternative application for Illinois, which is the alternative app for those who are undocumented students and transgender students who are not eligible to complete a FAFSA. Thank you for watching this and being with me. And I do want to thank Spanish Public Radio as well for having me to present. This is great. I hope we have a better understanding of Latinos in higher education and kind of the importance of accessing higher education. But with that being said, I will see you next time in our Cápsulas Informativas. And of course, I invite you to watch all the other ones. They're all so amazing from everyone at UNAM Chicago. And check out our social medias, of course. Facebook, YouTube, we're all there. And our main website, Chicago UNAM, and we'll see you next time then.